And in other news, with the major election just a week away, the Board of Elections held a press conference earlier this morning on St. Croix to make sure everything is in place. News Channel 8's Wes Small has more.
Well, as you can see behind me here, that the young ladies here at the Board of Elections are working very hard to make sure that you get your votes out and that they count. We just left that 10 o'clock press conference with John Abramson and several board members here. They're getting all the final touches in order. Just a few tips here that was put out by the election system of the VI. Confirm that you are registered to vote. Update your registration if information like the address, name, or political affiliation has changed. Know how and when to apply for an absentee ballot if you are unable to get to your polling place on election day.
I want to talk about the provisional balloting. The reason why, by law, we provide a provisional ballot is so that any elector that shows up to vote, number one, if they show up to the wrong location to vote, we don't want to have anyone disenfranchised. So we expect that that person, if they insist on voting, that they can vote at that site, but they cannot vote on the machine. They have to use the provisional ballot. The other reason for the provisional ballot is if an elector shows up to even the correct polling location that they were registered at previously, that person might have been canceled simply because they hadn't voted in 2 past general elections. The judge would contact the office here on election day to verify whether or not, if the person's card wasn't in the file, they will call back to the office, and the staff here would verify whether or not that individual actually was canceled, if they were registered at all, or any of those consequences. If it proves that that person had been canceled, for example, and that elector still absolutely insists on voting, that person will be provided an opportunity to vote provisionally. What happens with a provisional ballot? Well, when the provisional ballot is cast, it is returned to the office along with the cartridges and the tapes the night of the election. Those are kept sealed, and until at some point in time when the board makes a decision to review, open each of them, review it for the reason that is stated on here for why they were casting a vote provisionally, the board reviews the information, and by a motion to accept or deny that ballot, if it is accepted, that vote is then, the ballot is actually opened, that envelope is actually opened, and that vote is counted.
And of course, if you have any questions, you should call 773-1021. These young ladies here will be glad to answer all your questions about the polling places that you go to and so forth. And it's a good idea to have a sample ballot so that when you go to the election booth and make your vote count that day, that you already have like a shopping list. When you go shopping, well, you already know who you're going to vote for. Therefore, the things could go really smooth. So here we are, 1 week away from a major election in the United States with Barack Obama going against John McCain, and right here locally, senators. Will we see some new ones? Who knows? But whatever. If you're registered to vote, make sure that you go out on November 4th and exercise your right. Here at the Board of Elections, I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Well, believe it or not, the children in our territory have a grip on what's going on politically. Every election year, the students at Juanita Gardine Elementary School on St. Croix holds a mock election. News Channel 8's Wes Small has the story.
Well, here we are at Juanita Gardine School, and we are 1 week away from a major election, not only here locally, but of course nationally too, as we just might see America's first black president. Well, right here at Juanita Gardine, the students, as they always have, their mock election here, and we have several senators that are inside, and they're going to be grilled by our young students. Let's see what's on their minds this morning as we take a peek at Juanita Gardine's Electoral Forum.
Michael Golan, Kendall Peterson, Senator Norman John Levis, and we have some distinguished ladies in our midst. Iola Aida Thomas, Senator James Robert III, Mrs. Samuel Sands, Miss Naomi Sandra Joseph. I was meant to understand that St. John's residents have property taxes at the head of their agenda. On St. Croix, the Chamber of Commerce is concerned about the cost of doing business on the island. According to Michael Denman, the St. Croix businesses face expensive electric bills, high transportation costs, grocery receipts, and excise taxes that hurt the bottom line. We feel their pain because we too have experienced high electricity bills as well as high gas and food prices. If you agree with me, let me hear you give a round of applause.
Wow. You know, I was just talking to my 75-year-old aunt last night as she cast her vote for Barack Obama, and I got to tell you, she was just very happy to do that absentee vote in New Jersey, and I had to feel a sense, a special feeling when she told me how she felt. And you know, you could almost sense the same feeling right here at this elementary school at Juanita Gardine. Believe it or not, your children and students, they know what's going on with crime in their neighborhoods, drugs, also no employment, and WAPA bills going up. They see the pain in their parents' faces and in their teachers' faces. So don't think that these students don't know what's going on. So you could be 75 years old and voting, or you could be just an elementary school student and not voting yet, but you're very aware of the present issues that are going on. So here we are at Juanita Gardine as they have their mock election. The students, they're our future, and they do know what's going on in today's society. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
When we come back from the break, your Caribbean Report. And now it's time for your Caribbean Report. Moscow, Russia. Russia will offer a share of its air defense expertise with Cuba when a military delegation visits the Caribbean island this week. Interfax news agency reports on Monday. In the past few months, Moscow has stepped up its contacts with both Cuba and Venezuela. London, England. The United Nations said on Monday it will provide a $10.2 million rescue package for Haitian farmers, as high prices and food shortages in the wake of this year's deadliest storm threaten to worsen malnutrition. Aid agencies have jointly appealed for $106 million to provide relief. And that's what's happening in the Caribbean Report. The Women's Coalition will be having a candlelight vigil march on Thursday to stop domestic violence. News Channel 8's Wes Small has the story.
Well, this Thursday night, we're having a major march. Is that a candlelight march?
Yes, the Candlelight Take Back the Night March, which is an annual march that's held every year. It's going to be this Thursday. We're starting at 6 o'clock on the dot at the Frederiksted Fish Market, and we're going to march down to Buttle Park, where a ceremony will take place.
And that's going to be a very colorful event, however somewhat somber. And if you could bring candles.
You can bring candles, you can bring flashlight. We ask people to wear purple, any type of purple. We're going to be dedicating the march to two women who've lost their life in domestic violence like we normally do. We will also have our shoe project in remembrance of all the women, men, and children who died in domestic violence. Please come out and show your support. Please come out and show that you're against domestic violence. We postponed the march from last week because we wanted to be sensitive to families who still don't have lights. That's really why we postponed it. So we were hoping a week later more people would have power and feel more comfortable with coming out. So please come out and show your support.
Thank you very much, Clement. Don't forget to do the Candlelight March, 6 o'clock on Thursday, Women's Coalition. There is no excuse for domestic violence. I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.